All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're excited to kick off the next part of our morning program. I'd like to introduce a friend of mine, a wonderful friend, very grateful for him. He's got a big heart, and he's also a fantastic entrepreneur and investor, Nick Greer. He'll be our next speaker. I first met Nick, 2001-ish. He was like one of Ancestry's best affiliates, and he ended up taking what he learned from building an affiliate program and blowing up a company in a really important way to grow affiliate programs for lots of different companies. And Nick has been a very successful entrepreneur for the past 15 years. He's a teacher. He runs a nonprofit to feed children who are in poverty and who go to school and get free school lunch, and then they have nothing to eat on the weekends. And so Nick's got this beautiful story inspired by his daughter. This organization is named by his daughter. And what they do is every Wednesday night, they pack thousands of lunches, but bring them to schools on Fridays so that the kids can take school lunch or lunches home for Saturday and Sunday. And so Nick is one of my major heroes and role models. I think he's a phenomenal entrepreneur and a humanitarian, and we're excited that he's going to talk about his strengths-based business and strengths-based entrepreneurship. And we'll turn the time over to Nick Greer.
So, Papa O, where are you? All I know is when you said that, I'm like, man, that was like a softball pitch. I love that, just slow pitch. I'm like, I can't wait to hit that out of the park a little bit. Thank you. I think we've got a new name for you, though. It's got to be the Godfather. The Papa O, is good, but the Godfather, just solid, just solid name. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share this brief time with each of you. What an honor, what a blessing it is to be with you. Paul, thank you for allowing me to come and be part of this great organization, this great movement, and this cause. When Paul came to me and said, okay, this is what we're doing, I'm like, I'm in. What do you need? He's like, I need this much money. I'm like, okay, let's talk about another amount of money. So, all right, now I'm in. Totally am. So it was interesting. Years ago, I was teaching at BYU, and they had me teach an entrepreneurship class, over 200 students a semester. They were desperate for professors. In fact, they even asked me, they're like, we want you to teach, but we want you to give you hey, send your resume in. I'm like, wait, you're asking me to teach, right? To volunteer my time for this major class. You want me to send a resume? I'm an entrepreneur. I've never created a resume in my entire life. They're like, just send something in. And I'm like, just something? They said, yes. I said, okay, then I'll do it. So I sent in this letter. I said, to whom it may concern. I have 6 amazing kids. I have 7 now, but I have 6 amazing kids and 1 smoking hot wife. Call me if you have any questions. Sincerely, Nick Greer. And they still let me teach. And that's how desperate they were. So there I was teaching at BYU. And lo and behold, I meet this man by the name of Wynn Dunford. And Wynn approaches me and said, you know what, have you heard of strengths? I said, I don't know, it sounds a little corny. And he's like, well, no, you've got to fill out this assessment. It's not a test, it's an assessment. And you've got to do this assessment, and it's about 170 questions. It'll take you about 35 minutes. I'm like, 35 minutes? Holy cow, I don't have time for that. Soon to realize my maximizer's kicking in, right? And I'm realizing, you know what, I don't know if this is going to work. So I fill it out. I'm like, holy cow. This thing knows me. I'm like, I need all 34. So I get all 34. I said, honey, you need to do this. Her top 5 were exactly my bottom 5 on my 34. Responsibility, discipline, number 1 and 2 for her. 33, 34 for me. We were laughing so hard. We get in the car. We drive our family down to Arizona, and we call up Wynn. I said, Wynn, tell me what this is all about. And I'm like, I got to understand. So for 2.5 hours, Wynn, and we got cut out of coverage every now and then. We called him back. He's like, all right, this is what's going on. My wife's looking at me like, who is this guy? How does he know me so well? And I'm like, I don't know, honey. This is so awesome. Like, I'm getting to know you so much better now. Like, I love you. And now I understand why you have your processes every single morning. Now I know why you can't be spontaneous. Now I understand, like, when I say, let's go to Hawaii tonight, you're like, no. We've got kids. I'm like, yeah, I know, but we've got your mom too. She can watch the kids. And I'm like, this isn't, like, you got to understand, like, let's go. She's like, no. And then I realized, oh, responsibility. She needs at least 2 days to fill out that entire 2 pages worth of information to give directions of every detail to what to do with the kids. She does it to me when she leaves for a day. I'm like, I'm a dad. I think I got this. I can do this. And so I realized what makes her so great. So I go back to Wynn. I said, Wynn, we need to do this with each of our students. We need to do, all of our students need to do this every semester. We have about 220 to 250 students every semester in this class. He's like, let's do it. And I said, I want to divide them up based upon the different quadrants. So based upon influencer, relationships, strategic, and also on executing. And I want to divide them up based upon teams, and I want to make those teams, and I want them to build a business based upon their strengths. He's like, let's do it. Then I realized a couple years later, as we were doing this with the students, we were building a new software company. And I sat down with Wynn. I said, Wynn, our company will be a strengths-based business from day one. I need you here full-time to help us build this business. He said, I'm ready. You got to understand, Wynn is in, anyone know Wynn Dunford? 70s, right? Fantastic human being, has been around the block, successful businesses. He's like this, talk about a Papa Bear. You just want to hug him every time you see him. People love him. And this is what we did. We had every person who wants to interview with our organization, they have to pay the money themselves, put a little skin in the game, and take the strengths-based assessment. And at first, people were like, reluctant. They didn't want to do it. But then they started catching on. Then we started realizing the executives, they needed to be sold. The team needed to be sold as a whole. But it couldn't be just us talking about the top 5 strengths. We needed to actually pay for them to get all 34, but we needed to do ongoing courses and education on understanding what their strengths are. There was an experience I had the other day as we're sitting on one of these courses. I want to share that with you. We're sitting there, and there was a guy by the name of Tyler that we hired on. He's a developer. Sometimes developers aren't maybe the most, Nick Johnson, I'm sorry when I say this, where are you, Nick? But they may not be the most personal, even though top 4 out of 5 is relationships on his. I wish I would have known that when I worked with him years ago, because I probably would have been a much better person and a much better partner with him when we built this last business, and it completely failed. It was genealogist, by the way, .com, FYI. So as I was sitting and listening to Tyler in one of these trainings, so there we are in a training, right? And Tyler, I realize 4 out of his 5 are relationships, and then 1 strategic. And then I look at the rest of his, and I realize influencing was on the bottom. I mean, bottom. That's why he's so quiet. Wait a minute. No. He wants to influence others. He doesn't know how to vocally do it. There's a reason why. Nick, you're so dumb. Why don't you get him in front of a group, allow him to prepare, and build relationships with people? I get a little emotional about this. So I sat down with him. I said, Tyler, I want you and Ty to actually present to the company these things for 5 minutes. He's like, are you serious? I said, yes. They got up and killed it. They smashed it. He came out of there slapping high fives. Everyone's gathering around him afterwards. He was the hero. So here, now I understood how to make him a hero. I feel like it's my responsibility as an entrepreneur to empower and engage people in ways they've never been empowered. Yeah, it sounds a bit cliche, but I need to make them the hero. And when you understand their strengths as an entrepreneur, you understand their strengths as a business owner, and you understand even your customer strengths. We've even gone even further and more granular into our customers. And we have thousands and thousands of customers that we're even doing training with them on, all based upon strengths. It's amazing what happens, the greater amount of love and appreciation you have for those people. We don't lose our team members. We don't lose employees. Absolutely, we do not lose them when we show that we care for them. One of the things that we ask them, and one of the mottos that we have, and this isn't about us, but I'm just talking about as far as what's super important, is why I ask them, I say, Colin, what is it you're fighting for? What is it you're fighting for? And Colin will look at me and tell me, this is what I'm fighting for. I want a house. I want a picket fence. I want a green grass in my backyard so I can play with my 2 boys. I know you don't have any kids, but I want to play with my kids. That's one of our dreams. One of our dreams of one of our employees. I know exactly what he's fighting for. I also know what's important to him based upon his strengths. His name's Jared Clark. 4 out of his top 5 are all relationships. I understand exactly what's important to him, so I need to make sure he's actually in experiences and in opportunities to go build relationships with clients, with people. He's the type of guy, if I go put in the corner, he's like freaking out. I got to get back on the floor and I got to walk around. At first, it bothered me that he's like, you're so distracted. No, he's just filling that canteen up. So as an entrepreneur, as we're building our business, as we're building our software business, that is what's important to us. So when Paul came to us and talked about strengths-based businesses and strengths-based coaches and this whole cause that all of you are fighting for, that's what got me excited. Because for our company, that's what we do. We help these coaches be able to follow up. We help business owners follow up with their customers via text messaging and in an automated fashion that becomes very powerful so you can get the responses you're looking for with those customers. I am so grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful for you, for the cause that you're fighting for to go teach others about strengths and about so many other great things and what their potential really is. Because I think so often we think, you know what? You're so good at X. No. It's so much deeper than that. Nick, I know Nick in the back, he's so great at engineering. He's so great at UX. But you know what? That's just the surface. I need to know what really drives him and what makes him great and what he's really fighting for. And when we do that as employers, when we fight for their fight, that is empowerment. That is exciting. And that is exactly what each and every one of you, what you are doing for so many other people. So as you go out there, thank you for being you. Thank you for allowing us to have the Wins of the world, Win Dunfords of the world, who's our coach internally, where we can become Papa O, the strength-based business and a strength-based entrepreneur, because that's what's going to drive this world. And that's what's going to move this world forward. And each and every one of you is doing that. So thank you so much.